everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you just happen to stumble across my channel, I'm not sure how that happens, but if you do, hi, I'm Mand. So before we get into what the video is, you probably guessed by the title now. Do I have to keep saying that? I'll keep saying it anyway. But if you like all things spiritual, like tarot and oracle card related, crystals, law of attraction, and also books, not just like spiritual books or witchy books, but also fiction, which is what we're talking about today. I didn't take out any of my witchy books, that's kind of a different video, but I did want to share some of the books. If you watch my previous video on my February favorites, you would have seen there was a big bag there of books. These were got in a few different times. They weren't all bought together. But if you haven't already, do hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. And yeah, like the video if you love books as much as I do, not just like spiritual witchy books or anything like that, just fiction and getting lost in that world and whatnot. But yeah, and do hit the bell as well so you'll be notified when I upload. Right, let's get into it. So I have like 6, 8, 9. Oh, I have another 2 books to get. 1 second, I'll be back. Okay, I lied, it was 3 because I thought of another one as I was coming upstairs, because I do have a bookcase downstairs as well. So I was like, yeah, I have to get the books off that, because they're kind of, the books downstairs are my TBR, but like I'm definitely more a mood reader than I am like reading my to be read list, to be honest. So also if I remember when I'm editing, which doesn't happen often if I'm being honest, I'll pop up my Instagram. If not, do you know what, actually I'll leave it in the box, the description box below. I also have a Bookstagram, so it's mans.reading.corner. So if you want to chat all things books and whatnot, and you know, whatnot, I can't think of anything else to say on that. Yeah, do go follow me if that's your thing. Right, so I don't know where to start because I can't remember what I bought first, but if memory serves me right, I think I got these 3 books first. So yes, I am like everyone else. I have completely and utterly jumped on the Sarah J Maas bandwagon. I think I did it a little bit backwards compared to everybody else. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses first. I find that so difficult to say. But yes, I read that first. I started that last year, and then I started reading A Crescent City, which is A House of Earth and Blood, and I have now decided I want to collect Throne of Glass. Now, some people say to read the Assassin's Blade first, and then Throne of Glass, or other people are saying go by publication date. I think I'm just going to pick up the books and wait until I kind of have the whole series. I know I could get the box set, but I didn't realize that until I had picked these 2 up. So if you're new and you don't know who Sarah J Maas is, I'm not really sure what to say about her because everybody's talking about it. And look, if you're not into that, that's completely fine. I was so slow on starting it. Like I had A Court of Thorns and Roses series for like, I want to say 2 years. It sat in my bookcase before I even got into it. But trust me, when I got into it, there was no putting it down, and there was no slowing me. I devoured those books. I needed to know everything, and then I needed all of her books. So she is a phenomenal writer, I have to say that. Like I really like A Crescent City. I know a lot of people, there's kind of like conflicting opinions on it, but like I really enjoyed it because it's like completely different again. But that is a whole different video about those. But this is I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce her name, but I'm gonna go with Selena, and it's supposed to be kind of along the lines of a Cinderella retelling, but it kind of goes off in its own tangent, a bit like A Court of Thorns and Roses, because that was supposed to be like a Beauty and the Beast, but like, I mean, it goes totally off. It's nowhere near, sorry, but it's nowhere near a Beauty and Beast retelling. Absolutely not. I don't mind. I love that series. But yeah, so they're the first two. I'm excited to start that, but I kind of want to have all the books before I start because I don't want to be waiting. But I did hear that it takes about till the third or fourth book, I think, before it starts getting really, really good, because she started writing this when she was 16, if memory serves me right. So next one is Victoria Aveyard, and I haven't seen many people talk about this. This is her new series. It's Realm Breaker. Save the world or end it. Now, I'm really annoyed because the way this was packed, like my books came slightly battered. So, but this is the author from the Red Queen series, and I love that series actually. People have, again, conflicting interests and whether they enjoy it or not, but I did. I really enjoyed it. I started reading it back in 2020, and we all know what happened then, and I really liked it. It was lovely to get lost in books again, and because I hadn't picked up reading in so long. I've always been interested in reading, but this is a squire, the survivor of a failed quest, an immortal, timeless and infallible, an assassin, skilled and heartless, and an old sorceress holding secrets behind her teeth, and a pirate's daughter, the ward's last hope. The heroes are gone, but the fight to save the world has only just begun. Like, okay, to show you the back. Like, I loved her Red Queen series. I really, really do. It doesn't say much more, but you know, it's this whole like the world is ending, saving it, fantasy. I do love fantasy books. I really do, and I never thought myself as one of those because I pretty much, well, I'd read pretty much anything really, to be fair. Right. I'm still got lots of books to get through, but yeah, I have to say, like, I've always loved reading, and I like started, like most people started really, really young reading, and I remember was it Jacqueline Wilson was like hugely popular when I was younger, and I had like so many of her books. I actually gave them away to my neighbor because she loved them as well, and I had kind of outgrown them, so I gave them to her. And in one way I'm kind of like sad that I didn't hold on to them, but I mean, like, sometimes you have to let go of certain things to like make room for more stuff. And then as I got older, you know, the whole Twilight series, and I'm not even going to get into that. I love those books. Are they the best written books out there? No, they're not. But like, at 16, like, vampires, and like, she's a human and they fall in love, and then she becomes like a vampire as well, and there's werewolves, and it's a great introduction to like that whole fantasy world. So yeah, that's kind of really where my reading kind of picked up. But then again, I'd read like lots of different things. I remember going to the library and things like that, but let me get back into my book haul. So it's been a while since I've read this series, but then I seen this had come out, and it's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and this is like a prequel, isn't that the word, to the Hunger Games. So this is all about President Snow's story, and I love that. Like, ambition will fuel him, competition will drive him, but power has its price. And I'm like eager to reread the Hunger Games. It's been less than 10 years since I've read the Hunger Games. I remember reading it on my Kindle, which I have a really old Kindle. Let me know in the comments below, is it worth getting a Kindle, or am I just better off with just physical copies? Or like, what is the to-do thing now? But yes, I am like eager to reread the Hunger Games, because like I kind of remember some of the bits, but like not all of the stuff. So yeah, I want to I remember really enjoying it. Like, I really loved it. I like the whole dystopian setting, and kind of like it's been the end of the world, and you know, humanity is restarting again, but it's completely different, you know, completely different societies and things like that. So it's just kind of it's different to reading about like vampires or fairies or what else is there, like werewolves or any of that kind of stuff. It kind of breaks away from it. I do like dystopians. I like things that are set like humanity kind of went to absolute shit and people have restarted again and things like that, and then there's this kind of like fight for power. And yeah, I'm excited for reading this. I'm not sure what the reviews are in this. I didn't read it. I seen it in the works. It was like €9 or something, so I picked one that I got is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Brown, and I got this in the works. It was in like the 3 for €9 or something, so I always love getting a bargain book as well. But the back, let me read it because I love this. Bree would do anything before making a deal with the Fae. Debt is better than their vicious schemes. But when her sister is taken by the sadistic king of the Unseelie, Bree breaks her own rules and agrees to steal 3 magical relics from the rival Seelie court in exchange for her sister's return. Bree's only way inside is to pose as a potential bride for the Seelie prince, Ronan, a prince who's not quite as wicked as she once thought. Unwilling to let her heart distract her, she accepts the help from a band of misfits with their own secret agenda. But as Bree spends time with their mystery leader, Finn, she finds herself struggling to resist his seductive charm. Caught between 2 dangerous courts, Bree must decide who to trust with her loyalty and with her heart. Like, does that not sound inviting? Like, as in, I feel this is a book that, now I haven't read it. I've heard a lot of people actually on about it. I reckon this is a book you'd sit with a cozy blanket and like kind of devour in a day or two, you know, getting swept up in that world. I don't know, I'm really loving fantasy, and especially around like the fae and fairies and things like that, which is very interesting because here in Ireland there's like huge superstition, you've all heard me saying, huge superstition around fairies and fairy forts and not to mess with the fae and things like that. So I mean, it just seems fitting, right? So then, and I believe that is a series as well. So far the books I've actually showed you are all part of a series. I believe this is just the standalone, and it's called Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. I mean, that is cool. Like pendulum, crystals, I'm sold. That's it, that's all I need to see. Is revenge the sweetest magic of all? Like, and it's I don't know who Emily Henry is, but she said it's a sexy, funny, charming rom that scratches that itchy autumnal itch just right. And I'm like, yes, I love this. So I won't read the whole blurb at the back, but it's 2 witches plot revenge but end up falling in love in this magical romantic comedy. And I do love a good romance. I see like a lot of smut is making its rounds on like Bookstagram and TikTok, and people are like loving that, and like I have no problem with that, but sometimes I just like romantic comedy. I don't want anything too steamy or like I have no problem with it, but it's just sometimes I just want a good story. I don't need the whole ins and out and all the details about it. Again, it's not something I would actively go out and pick up. This, yes, romantic comedy, yeah, I like that kind of cheesy Hallmark, feel good, they all fall in love in the end, happily ever after. Like sometimes you just want that. I find especially after like reading a series, you just want something to break it up, or if you're reading a series and you just want something in the middle to break it up, books like that are great because they're not heavy, there's not too much thinking involved, there's not too much world building or character building. It is what it is. Do you know, that kind of way? And don't get me wrong, listen, Sarah J Maas's books have some interesting scenes. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. She incorporates it very nicely. It isn't the big bulk of her stories or her world building or the character stories and things like that. It's nice to fill out a few pages, but I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, just so people are aware, if you haven't read it already, there is a bit of adult content that I would be aware of. I'm not sure how I can phrase this on YouTube. So, the next one, I actually got this on an offer and I can't remember if I shared it here or not, but it's Go the Distance, A Twisted Tale, and it's what if Meg had to become a Greek goddess. And I love these twisted tales. I have a few of them. This was like €4. I wasn't gonna leave it behind. I really do like the way they tell like the villains' stories. I read not that long ago Mother Knows Best. It's about Gottel's story with like Rapunzel. I wasn't too sure about that one because I know like these are kind of slightly different to those, whereas these are more like kind of in one sense standalones. I love holographics, but they're just easy reads. I mean, there's not too much depth or anything in them. Again, they're nice little fillers in between if you're into that. I am coming back to Sarah J Maas again. I promise this is the last book by her that I have, but I wanted to incorporate it because I did get it recently, and it's the next one on my to be read, and it's a chunky book. It is House of Sky and Breath. It's the Crescent City series. I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait. I love the covers. I love the inside covers of these. Like, excuse me. I don't normally get hardback books, okay, because they're expensive. They're super expensive. But I have a Crescent City in hardback. I had to get this one. I said before this one gets taken off, because they seem to be changing covers and things like that. And I seen House of Earth and Blood in the paperback, not the new one, but it's just kind of like a white one, and I don't like it. I just, nope. And then because these books are so big, the spines crack, and I'm just like, I can't cope with that. I don't like the spines being cracked in a book. Is anybody else the same? I just can't. So that is the next one. I really don't need to talk too much about it because everybody knows this. Right, we've 4 more books. I promise I'm not going to keep you much longer. So the next one that I picked up was Twisted Love by Anna. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. I'm very sorry. But this is a series, and okay, is this about an angel? I will be brutally honest, I'm not 100% sure. I seen people talking about it. I got it in the works. I was like, I'll pick up the first one, see how it go. Apparently a lot of people like the second one better than this one, but it's discovered the addictive world of the Twisted series. So Alex Volkov is a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. Driven by a tragedy that has haunted him for most of his life, his rootless pursuits for success and vengeance leave little room for matters of the heart. But when he's forced to look after his best friend's sister, he starts to feel something in his chest. Oh my gosh. Is it one of these? So is this like an enemies to lovers, a crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it? And then you have Ava Chen, is a free spirit trapped by nightmares of a childhood she can't remember. But despite her broken past, she's never stopped seeing the beauty of in the world, including the heart beneath the icy exterior of a man she shouldn't want. Her brother's best friend, her neighbor, her savior in her downfall. Theirs is a love that was never supposed to happen, but when it does, it unleashes secrets that could destroy them both and everything they hold dear. I kind of like the sound of this one. So, yep, that's another one to my TBR list. And then I've seen so many. I try not to buy into too many trends. I'll be brutally honest. I try not to buy into them because I like discovering books by myself and finding authors that not everybody's talking about. But I also, I'm kind of glad that I also caved with the whole Sarah J Maas thing, because honestly, I will never stop loving that series. I'm sorry. No. But we have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. And I heard this is supposed to be a great read. A lot of people really, really love it. I love the little gold detail. Can you see? But this is like, I think this is a romance as well. You think I would have looked all this up now before I came on, but yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying they had like a book hangover after this, so I'm excited to read this. It sounds really good. And then, just to talk about another book that most people have highly recommended, I started reading it. It's my first book and probably last book of Colleen Hoover. Nothing against her. This is Verity, if you haven't seen. Of course, I'm really freaking annoyed because I got this bookmark with one of my book depository orders, and it tells me, think you know how it ends, think again. And there's a never before seen chapter. So you're telling me I have the book, I think I got that in book depository. Yes, no, I didn't. I got it in the works. That there's another chapter and I don't have it. It's not in this one. I am about, what page am I on? Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I'm basically where she's starting reading the manuscript. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to do any spoilers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's not that I'm like going into this book going, I don't want to like Colleen Hoover. I have no idea. I've never read any of her books. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a book that keeps me intrigued. Like, I kind of want to still keep reading it. I know a lot of people like her book. Is It Ends With Us, and Ugly Love, I think, is another one. I can't say they're of any interest to me, so I probably won't pick them up unless I can get them like secondhand or something, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't hate it. I'm not overly in love with it, but I will continue. We will see. And the last one is by Jojo Moyes, and it's A Shelter in Rain. And to be honest, I love anything Jojo Moyes writes. She is so good. She wrote the series Me Before You. If you haven't read that, I would suggest giving it a chance. I really do like it. Personally, I loved it. I love the movie as well. So any of her books that I can get my hands on, I will read. I actually recently read there in January, is it the Bride Ships? I think it is. I love the way she just delves into different eras. She doesn't just stick with like one. It is kind of along the lines of one genre, alright, yes, but she, like the Bride Ships is based kind of around World War II, and brides that married English soldiers in Australia, that the ships that they took, and about their journey. And it was so super interesting. And like the ending, and I remember starting the book onto Jamie. I don't know if I really like this book, and it's not really what I'm used to reading by her. And trust me, I stuck with it because I'm not these people that kind of do like did not finish or just put it down if you don't like it. There's very few books I will do that. I will try and persist, because sometimes I find the books that I love most are the ones that I kind of persisted with. So I do admire anybody that goes, no, I couldn't finish it, I just couldn't do it. Like, I love that. But you just went, nope, not grabbing me. And there are some books, yeah, but that's why I try and read. But what I do when I go into the shop is, if I buy in a bookshop, I will go to the book, right, and I'll just randomly pick. And if it has captured me in the middle, then I will chance it. But don't read the last page. Just don't do that. But this is when 21-year-old Joy meets handsome naval officer Edward at an expat party in 1950s Hong Kong. The last thing she expects is to fall in love. Quickly wedded, she leaves to travel the world with her new husband, but she soon discovers that married life isn't all that it seems. In 1980, Joy's young daughter Kate mysteriously flees the family home. 15 years later, Kate's own daughter Sabine leaves London in search of grandparents she has never known. But with the family finally reunited, hidden tensions come to the surface, uncovering a dark secret which for years has been deeply buried. Okay, so it's... Oh, is this her first novel? It says the fantastic first novel from Jojo Moyes. This is the story of 3 generations of women and their profoundly different experiences of love. And I love that. I really want to get The Giver of Stars as well by her. So I love anything she writes. To be brutally honest, I like any books, and I think I have like 1 or 2 more books on the bookshelf, or one at least that I haven't read, I think. Anyway guys, that is my book haul. I think I have shown you everything that I've bought recently. If you have any book recommendations, or anything that you've seen here that you're like, yes, I know another book that's like that, let me know please. I love finding new books and adding them to my wish list. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will chat to you all real soon.